everything. So maybe the sex wakes you up, okay? And I tell this in the mic, okay, that's great. So Yelon is a sexual education program dedicated to children between the age of 10 and 18. We used a lot of pro bono work when we prepared this project. At the very beginning, all the contracts, licensing, agreements, and related stuff was invented by pro bono lawyers. And then when we just started the project this February, used a lot of volunteers and pro bono employees in the Yelon. Why sexual education? So we are a child rights NGO, and we know about we know lots about the child rights. We know that children has right to be informed about sexual related issues. But we also know that sexuality is still a taboo in our society. There is a double-faced phenomena because on the one hand, there's a lot of free stuff on the internet, free porn, and other sexual-related stuff on the internet available freely, easily for children. But on the other side, talking about sexuality, talking about body image is still a taboo even in the modern societies in Europe or the Western countries. The parents have a feeling that they should talk about sexuality, but sometimes they have no words. Sometimes it's hard for them because they were not educated on sexuality before. It is also a taboo. What can I say when my daughter asks about menstruation? What I say when my son talking about using a condom or first sex or first kiss, or what about consent? In these days, when we talk about a lot sexual harassment after Harvey Weinstein case, and it's absolutely on the top, and we are talking about a lot women's rights, females' rights, what is violence, where is the border between sexuality and violence. We have to talk about our children, also what abuse and sexual abuse really means, and through sexual education we can achieve this point. We invented this sexual education program not in books or schools, but on the internet and cell phones, because it's a mobile phone application and the website, because all the digital age kids are on the internet. They don't read books mainly. They are in the schools, but they are not interested in after school sessions. We just can't provide, and I don't know what I did. I'm sorry. So it's here. Okay, maybe just the other one. So they are not interested in after-school sessions, and sometimes we can't provide quality teachers on the countryside. So many good sexual education programs are in the capitals and the main cities, but children living in villages, rural areas have no chance to be part of these good quality programs. So we invented this on the website, and it's a mobile phone application, a smartphone application. The Yelon looks like this. Children can search according to the topic they are interested in: body, sexuality, emotional issues. They can search according to their age. I'm 10 years old. They can search about sex, female or male, and LGBTQ issues also, because we are separately dealing with homosexuality related issues too. And okay. Okay, that's great. Thanks. The second one will be in an easier situation. And this is an article. You can see that we use a lot of colorful pictures. The texts are not too long because we know that children don't read too much at once. And what is special in Yelon program, that we have a site for parents also, because we know that not just children but also parents are interested in sexual education. So this part, they can link to another URL another website which is dedicated for responsible parents. So we try to help them also to answer the questions of children. There is an exit button here. If there is a crazy situation, for instance, a parent just enter into the room and see that the child is sitting in front of a computer and checking, for instance, an article about condoms, they can just push this exit button and this whole stuff is disappear and the website is changed to Google. This is the mobile app. It's an important function to hide if you want. We have frequently asked questions we try to answer. They are articles. The articles are text-based sometimes, but sometimes they are galleries. So for instance, the photo gallery about the different shapes and different parts of a human being. And what especially is yellow, and where we use also pro bono work and volunteer work, this is the chat, because it's not just a stable, passive website when you can search and find information and content, but children can pose questions they are really interested in. So what is our slogan? If you don't find what you are looking for in our website or among the articles, you can ask, and our trained volunteer experts will answer you 3 times a week from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m., so late evening and the night. We are waiting for the questions of the children and asking for their question. Why it is so important? Because so many times the children have no language to pose a question. We see that if we just upload an article about sexual violence, then the sexual violence related questions on the chat are increasing. So there is a really close contact between the contents and the chat issues. This is the website dedicated to the parents. So it looks like the children's website. The content are different. How you can answer if you see that your child checking porn on the web. How can you answer if your daughter just entered the room when you are having sex with your partner? How can you realize that your kid is a victim of bullying situation in the school, and so on and so forth. In our approach is a child rights approach, meaning that all the content is child-friendly, child-centered, absolutely answer to the rights, basic rights of the child for information. And we believe that good quality sexual education is a very good tool to prevent sexual violence, because in so many cases the violence can happen because the child can't realize, is not able to realize what is acceptable and what is not in a situation. So this is Yellow program, which is we like very much, and I hope that you can check it. If you are Hungarian, you can download on the marketplace. If you are not Hungarian, you can visit the site on your browser, because it's on the internet. Thank you.
I'm here to actually talk to you about Asia Law Network. So this site was actually set up with the aim of, letting people in Singapore access legal services affordably and conveniently. About 90% of our law firms belong to, the small, medium-sized law firms. So in Singapore, I'm not sure about, I know everywhere in the world you have different structures where it comes to law firms. In Singapore, usually lawyers are the ones that owns law firms. So in terms of marketing, it's not so much, widely done. So in order for anyone to find a lawyer, it's really difficult. So I started this because it was really difficult to find a lawyer when I needed one. And you can imagine, I have so many lawyer friends, but to find an objective legal service or legal advice was so difficult. So we started in 2014, and it's been almost 3 years now. So the great thing is that we're now presenting this platform as kind of like a public-private partnership with the government. We are the only law marketing platform approved under a Tech Start for Law scheme by the Ministry of Law. Law Society of Singapore, as well as Spring Singapore, which is a program that helps small, medium enterprises. As you can see, that what we're trying to do is really to help anyone that needs legal advice fast to be able to get it fast. So not only that, we also work with a lot of law firms to educate the public on, different issues in the market by doing content. As we know, marketing costs can become very high over time. And what we want to do is to level the playing field so that all lawyers can get themselves out there without having to pay high prices in advertising. So content is actually a huge way to get this done. Other than that, we actually piloted this program called Quick Consult. Basically, Quick Consult is a automated service where you can speak to a lawyer within 2 days for only $49. It's almost the price of going to a general practitioner or a doctor when you're sick. So what we're trying to do is to educate the market to tell them that going to a lawyer is as easy and is as important as going to a doctor when you're sick. The problem in the market right now is that a lot of people don't know where to go to when they need legal help, and they try to solve things themselves, and they end up being in bigger problem than they started. So this experience is quite easy. So as you can see, we actually really have to tell them what it means to be in a legal dilemma, how this Quick Consult service can help you speak to a lawyer and help you to get a peace of mind. And we actually channel them through all the categories, right? For example, you can see here if they click on Quick Consult, they can go through all different categories. I know you see for women only. We actually debated for a long time whether to put for men only. I'm not sure whether, we're being a bit unequal here. But yeah, so there's many of these issues that are day-to-day things that people face, but they don't know actually what kind of law it falls under, right? I think even Kate mentioned, who knows what tort is? Nobody knows that, but I know that, for example, if I have insurance problems, I'll click here, right? So this is how they actually find a lawyer. And after clicking on the topics, they can actually select the lawyer. Okay, this is the staging site, so you don't see actually real data. These are my teammates. So we actually do demos with our teammates. But go on the live site and you'll be able to see real lawyers. So I wanted to show you how on the back end, we've managed to make this super easy for lawyers to sign up. Now we have more than 1,500 lawyers on the platform. And we're the largest platform in Singapore now that actually has this service. So it's like, for example, having a LinkedIn account, right? And on your LinkedIn account, once you log in, you can actually switch on your Quick Consult to available, if you're available in the next 2 days. And you can switch it off if you're not available. And you just have to select the categories that you are an expert in. And when you select the categories, you will appear on the front end as available for that Quick Consult. So that is important for a lot of lawyers because I know that you're very busy and you have to plan your time. So when you're available, what client actually does is to fill in a form so that they can think through their problems and highlight to you what are the questions that they want answered. So when you receive the request, there's also a conflict check. So you can accept or decline the case if there's a conflict. And if you accept the case, then you get to see the details of the case. So it's a step-by-step automated service that helps people to get to lawyers, and also it helps lawyers to get to people. Because we know that for the kinds of work that you do, your day is basically swamped every single day, right? And we're trying to make it as easy for the lawyers to connect to the public as much as possible, and to make it really, really simple. Also, we're working with our pro bono office. Sorry, just to show you. This week, we launched a service that allows, for example, our pro bono office to use, where they can also queue in calls using the same technology to have our lawyers use the technology for pro bono calls. So it's not just for people facing the public, but also for people who cannot afford legal services. So yeah, as you can see, There's like a accept and decline button here where, you know, if there are cases that are coming in, you'll be notified and you can choose whether you want to accept or decline the case. If you decline it, then it gets pushed on to the next available lawyer for them to accept. So everything is automated, and it makes it really, really simple, whether it's for the client or whether it's for you. As in the case of pro bono, it really helps to speed up the process of taking up the case, especially if it's urgent. I think in most countries, for example, there are legal aid, right? Legal clinics, there are places you can go to for free legal advice, but those take time and usually have to sign up for it, and usually happens like once a month or every 2 weeks, and it's in a certain specific region. So this really helps to speed up things, and it helps people to get to legal advice really fast. So, okay, let's go back to the site. So the site right now actually is run on VoIP. So when people actually get to call, or lawyers actually start the call with their clients, we actually have more than 15 countries calling into Singapore law firms at this point in time. So we're launching this program actually across Asia in all different languages, which means that you can call into any Asian law practice within 2 days, and it's international. So you don't have to worry about, you know, all these international fees that you have to pay when you're calling a lawyer overseas. Yep. Any questions so far?
How
maybe?
Do you choose the lawyers to participate?
How do we choose the lawyers to participate? Okay, so right now, as I think with the market starting to open up to technology, especially for the legal profession, we actually go door knocking on all the law firms to help them to sign up to have a profile. So they know exactly what is going on, if they are portraying the right information, and all of the lawyers that are on the platform actually has a practicing certificate with the Law Society, with the Bar Association in Singapore. Yeah, so we do that, and we also have to train them in terms of how they use, you know, the start calling button, how do you schedule a call, how do you decline it, and things like that. Does that answer your question? Okay. Any other questions? Yes.
Because in my country, in Macedonia, the advertising of attorneys is forbidden
Yes.
by the codex. How is the situation in Singapore with regards to it? Is there a prohibition of the advertising?
Yes, there is actually a professional code of conduct where attorneys are not allowed to market themselves in a certain way. So what we've done is actually to really keep it really professional. So even the way that we write the articles together with the lawyers, it's more like a public education and not so much like selling that particular lawyer itself. Yeah.
So you didn't have any problems with regards to that?
We're working with them. So we're working with the Ministry of Law, Law Society to make sure that, you know, everything is done in a tasteful manner. Yes.
Do you collect feedback from clients on their interactions with the lawyers?
Yes, we do collect feedback, but very generic feedback. Number one, we feedback on the technology. So is the call clear? You know, how was the interaction with the lawyer? Second, was your lawyer helpful, you know, in answering your questions? So we keep it very broad, because the moment we don't want to go into too many of the case details. I think it's uncomfortable. And also for us, the feedback is used as a quality control, so that we have an idea whether, you know, a certain lawyer is over time okay, or, you know, is it like the client that's becoming, you know, a bit over demanding.
What would you do if you got too much negative feedback about a lawyer?
Yeah, so on our site, actually, there's a terms of use, which says that if a lawyer has too many negative feedback, we have the right to actually take that lawyer down. Yeah. So we do that to protect and curate the platform.
Thanks very much, Cherilyn.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Evgenia, and I'm here with my colleagues Matias and Vicky, and we are representing Terre, which is a leading Swiss child relief agency. And we work all across the world, and in Budapest we have the regional office for Southeast Europe. And in this Europe we mostly work on migration issues, on justice for children, and on strengthening child protection systems. And today we are going to talk about a few projects we run, and one of them, the biggest one, is the Child Protection Hub that you can see on the screen right now. The Child Protection Hub has one of the main goals to create a space for child protection professionals from different disciplines, social workers, police, legal professionals, and others working to protect children. And we create space for them pretty much with the use of technology where they can collaborate, exchange experience, support each other, and learn. And I will show you a quick, video right now. It's a bit of multitasking for me now. Here. Oops. Okay, it's showing. Great. So, as you can see, we are a regional initiative. We work in the region in 6 different languages to improve child protection policies and practices. At the moment, we are a bit more than 3,500 professionals registered. And we build capacity, we provide knowledge to them, and support different advocacy initiatives. We have a library of resources. I will show you in a second the website, which has more than 20,000 items. One of the things we do, we take different very complex documents, reports, or legal papers and have volunteers. For example, we have an agreement with Oxford University, and students, most of them are legal students, who provide summaries, or for example, easy to read, understand infographics or animated videos for child protection professionals to understand the key features, things they need to know. We provide webinars to professionals on lots of different topics. And you can see that we have very good satisfaction level of webinar participants, which I'm very proud of personally. And then we organize online case discussions for, again, different professionals working with children. When they have a different case and they don't know how to deal it, we match them with the person who can advise and facilitator, and there are people joining and listening to the discussion so they can learn. We develop different e-learning modules for professionals, for example, on multidisciplinary working, how health, education, police, social workers can work together to protect a child. We have an excellent feature which is not used at all. We still have to investigate why, which is ask about a policy. On the website, child protection professionals can ask us anything about any policy or advocacy action they want to make, and they don't use it at all. So it's one of the goals for us for the next year to find out why and how to improve it. And we use gamification to encourage professionals to spend more time on the website and learn more. You can see they can earn different tokens. There is a scoreboard. They earn points. And we are about to launch a so-called Child Hub shop where they can exchange these points to tangible things, like, for example, participation in a conference or a course. And 86% of professionals say that Child Hub improved their connections, cooperations, and knowledge, which is very good news for us. And just a second. I'll show you very briefly the website. here it is. Um, so you can see we have a community, we have Child Hub Academy, where you can find e-learning courses. We have consultants directory, where professionals can mark that they are available for consultancies, resources, vacancies, and library and different webinars, learning, and other resources. And one of the things we're developing now is a special section on justice for children, which is happening within our Away project, and Vicky will tell you briefly about it now.
Hi, I'm Vicky. I'm working for Terre, and I will be very short. I'm leading an international project called Away, and it's alternative ways to address youth. This is the shortened way of this, and we would like to ensure that professionals who are working with children committed crimes, they will be more aware and better equipped with diversion with arrested or suspected children. So that's why we are going to make this juvenile justice section within the Child Hub. Unfortunately, I don't have more time to talk about the project, but please register and then you will see more information. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Matias, and I'm the Regional ICT for Development Officer for Terre in Europe Zone. And I'm here to present Story Lab, that is a game for children between 14 and 18 to raise awareness on their rights in various settings. The game will be available in Romania, Moldova, in Croatia, Bulgaria, Hungary, Italy, and UK. In the upcoming weeks. It is a 2 years program, and the outcome of this program is the game that is trying to teach the children, participant children, about their rights. The game was designed with the participation of children. Therefore, topics are vary from including bullying, family violence, criminal cases. Usually there is one main story, and children can check what possible outcomes are there. On the screen, you can see a preview from the game, and I'd like to just briefly show you an intro video. And if you are interested, from next week, you can download it and check the application called Story Lab.
Audio Jungle. Okay, and the final slide for us is the map where we work. You can see it's pretty much the whole region plus UK. And a few things how you can get involved if you feel like helping us to help children. We always look for help with the so-called translating legal documents to language that people not familiar with legal issues can understand. Helping with the case discussions for professionals and doing webinars and providing expert advice on any issues starting from child protection to copyright. And I know Matias.
Yeah, regarding the Story Lab, is available on the mentioned languages and countries. So if you are interested, you can download it from Google Android Store and Apple Store, and there will be a website for the game as well. And in the future, hopefully, we can extend it for more countries, more languages, and also for more topics, because right now we are focusing only on juvenile justice, but the way how we develop this game is also available for other topics.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Alexander Turcan. I'm a business lawyer from the Republic of Moldova, and I manage a traditional law firm. At some point a few years ago, we decided that we want to help people with some free advice and also provide free consultations to people when they come and invite them to visit our offices, to sit with us, tell us their problems and things like this. And we have actually tried a few times at the Moldovan Bar Association to call on to make public announcements about lawyers on particular days being available for free advice at different offices, at the Moldovan bar offices and at the offices of their own law firms. And we discovered that people don't really come for consultation when they're called. Maybe you can have maybe 40 lawyers lined up on a particular day available for free advice, but you only have 3 or 4 visitors or 6 visitors. We had journalists come and make TV stories about this. They had to bring their own visitors to simulate a consultation so that they can film how the process works. So we said, okay, this isn't really working. Also, whenever we had visitors, we saw that we had people coming to you for maybe 15 minutes, but actually monopolizing your time for an hour and a half, telling you different problems they have, and generally telling you their story in a very chaotic way. So we said, okay, so we want to do this, but we don't want to do this in this particular way, because we thought, and we are business lawyers, we very much value our time, and we try to use our time we try to use our time as efficiently as possible. So this is how we decided to create Javo, which is an online platform for, I will show you the website in a couple of minutes, but before I give some background information, this is what people see when they go on Javo today, is they have a choice of either asking a question themselves or searching the archives of the answers to see what if their question was answered before and maybe there's no need to ask the question. This is the logo of the Javo. This is the logo of the Javo platform. We started the project about 2 years ago. It took about a year and a half to design it and to make it public, and now it has been public for almost a year. Very recently, initially we started slow. We were troubleshooting a lot of functions on the platform, the way questions are asked, the way lawyers get notified about different questions, where problems come out, and now we think, as time has passed and we have reached thousands of answers on the platform, we think we've troubleshooted a lot of problems that existed before. Today we have on the platform we have almost 170 lawyers participating, and they are not all lawyers. They are most of them, of course, are. Most of them are advocates, members of the bar. Then we have trainees, which are advocate trainees. This is a step before you become an advocate, and they also participate in this platform. We have in-house lawyers from different banks and different companies who have free time and are available to help people donate their time basically to help them guide through legal issues. We have some notaries participating, and we have some court executors, bailiffs also participating in the platform. Like this slide, for instance, shows we have 6 paralegals. Actually, now we have 26 paralegals participating in the platform. And paralegals, they're not lawyers, but they are what we've heard today, the concept of barefoot lawyers. They are secretaries at mayor's offices. They are teachers in villages. They are doctors sometimes. They're just non-lawyers who are out there in the we have a community of these professionals in Moldova. They're based outside of the cities, in villages, and they're They work under the Moldovan National Legal Aid Office, and their goal is to help people with the basic legal needs. We also have a lot of law students participating, more than 30 today, and usually these are good students. So now today we have a new normal for law students to actually put their Yavo profile on, and I'll show you how the profile looks. Yavo profile on their CV, because we say if a law student can provide advice to somebody in a legal clinic in a traditional way at the university, they should be able to provide advice also online. This slide shows, for instance, the lawyers in our firm, they've provided 600 free legal answers over the last 7 or 8 months, which is roughly about 15% of the total answers provided on this platform. Basically, my point being is that never would we would have been able to provide so much so many free legal responses if we wouldn't have used digital tools like this one. Because if you do it in a traditional way, if you do it in a way where you call person for an in-person consultation, you can only do so much. We wouldn't even be able to do it, we wouldn't even be able to help 600 people with legal answers if we didn't do it in the digital way. On an average, I want to also mention here that we created the platform by ourselves, but we saw that the Soros Foundation has noticed the platform, and they say, we're interested in your project and tell us how you can help. And we say, okay, we need help promoting the product. No matter how good the product works, if nobody knows about it, it's kind of worthless. So the Soros Foundation gave our firm, which is very unusual for the foundation to give a grant to a law firm, but they gave a grant to a law firm to add some functionalities to the platform. For instance, we created it, it was initially in the Romanian language, but then to provide access to other languages, we've created a multilingual platform. Also, most of the grant funding was actually directed towards promotion of the website, and that really impulsed the way the platform works, because on an average we were doing about 20 answers. We were providing about 20 answers per day, or about 600 answers per month. We are targeting an amount of 7, maybe even 8 answers per year, which is pretty much matching the amount of primary legal guidance that the Moldovan National Legal Aid Office is able to provide to people. So only the Moldovan Legal Aid Office is getting funded from the national budget, and we're not and the lawyers and the paralegals who provide the advice, who provide legal answers through this platform, they are not getting paid, and nobody's allocating monies for them to pay. A recent development when we speak about paralegals is we have managed to convince the legal aid office. What paralegals do, they are funded by the state. They actually have a salary paid through the National Legal Aid Office. Whenever they consult a person, they write a report, and each time they give advice, they include the number of advice. They like a form, so they fill in forms about sort of like timesheets, like lawyers do, and then they get paid based on the answers they provide. Well, now paralegals in Moldova are allowed to report their responses on Yavo for purposes of the national legal aid system, and in this way, basically, this what we call really a game for lawyers, and I'll show you quickly. I know our time is up, but I'll show you quickly how it works. Is become a little more than that. I would like to. We have some free forms available for some of the more popular questions or issues, like a free divorce application or free child support application. People write and say, well, I cannot pay, just help us draft something. So we draft something, we put it online, and I'll show you how I don't see them. I need to open Safari here, and I don't see the Safari. Yeah, I am down. There's no menu. Oh, yeah, okay, okay. Firefox. So this is how the platform looks like today. Oh, it's because the screen is narrow. It thinks it's a mobile version. So this is why we have the menu here on the right. This is the menu, and for instance, we go to the answers section. I mean, first of all, this is how I ask a question. If I'm a person who wants to ask something, I don't need to create an account. I just go and ask. So I go to this page and I write my question and I press the send button and it's sent. Now, this is the section where the answers are placed. So it's like today we have 3,811 answers. From different areas of law, civil law, criminal law, labor law, and you can see how many answers are in different areas. Lawyers get notified about the platform, about the question on the platform, and if they register in a particular area of law, they also get a notice that a question in their area, like in the labor law area, for instance, has been posted, and they receive an email notification about this. Here you can also see, you can see our lawyers. For instance, we have 168 lawyers, as I was saying. Everybody has a profile. You can, for instance, let's open the profile of this guy. We see, so he's an advocate, his license number, his business address, his telephones. They get called and follow-up work comes out of this. His question, this is also a resource for people to choose a lawyer because they can see how the lawyer thinks. They can read the answers on other questions. Here we have client feedback. We have 24 feedback for this, posts of feedback for this particular lawyer. And similar things exist for law students, for paralegals. If we look here on this same page, for instance, we have this student. You can see he's a student, so the user knows the answers provided by a student. He provided 270 answers voluntarily without being paid or without any other incentive for doing so. So there's just a category of lawyers who want to do that, and we think it's a great project. There are many other things we want to do with it, we want to keep developing and adding new things and features to the platform. Thank you very much. I see.
So I'm very conscious that we're pretty much at the end of the session now, so I'm going to do a super speedy run-through of my presentation. I'm Kate from Justice Connect. We're an Australian clearinghouse and legal service providing charity. We have lots of technology initiatives. A colleague of mine, Sue, presented some of them last year. I want to talk to you in particular about one initiative that we're working on at the moment, the Legal Help Gateway. This is a project that we received funding from through the Google Impact Challenge. It's essentially an end-to-end automation and digitisation of the functions of a clearinghouse. And we've designed this product to address three key problems. So 4.5 million Australians have unmet legal needs. There's never going to be enough legal aid lawyers or pro bono lawyers to address those legal needs. So we're looking at other ways to deliver legal assistance to people via online channels. We also miss opportunities to maximise the potential of the pro bono pool in Australia. Justice Connect has access to 10,000 lawyers, but we're not managing and utilising the data about their capacity as well as we could be. So this has been designed to address that challenge. And finally, perhaps the biggest challenge we face at Justice Connect, as quite a large organisation in Australia, is the process of intake and triage is incredibly time consuming. So this product is also designed to semi-automate the intake and triage process of a clearinghouse. So I have a 4-minute video. If you have 4 minutes, please hang around. That will give you a little bit of a feel for the Legal Help Gateway, and I'm happy to talk to anyone who's more interested in it after the end of this session. So here you can see the client-facing components of the gateway. So this is the intake and triage function of the gateway. What we're trying to do is sort out the people who come into our clearinghouse as quickly and early and respectfully as possible. The focus is on empowering people through our triage process. We don't require them to hand over their personal information until the very end of the process, when they have a sense of what it is that we're going to be able to provide to them. So we're giving them control over the process. We're also getting from them as early as possible the pieces of information that are most likely to make them ineligible, so that we screen them out at the earliest opportunity and send them off to a better place for assistance. So we currently do this by phone, and it often means that we end up spending a very long time with someone who's not eligible for our help. What you can see here is a natural language processor running an artificial intelligence analysis of the person's entry about their legal problem. It's helping the person identify what category their legal problem might fall into, so that they can then get a better indication about whether Justice Connect is the right place to be looking for legal assistance. So there's an example of an answer. That person's been told that they are eligible for assistance in some of the areas of their problem, and it's now collecting salient information from that person, so that our lawyers can then have the key pieces of information about that person's matter, so they can then start to build a picture of what the best thing to do with this person is. How is the best way that we can assist this person? That may be through one of our own services at Justice Connect, or it might be by referring someone out to a pro bono lawyer in our network. So you can see here that we're gathering further information about their financial circumstances, which is relevant for different parts of Justice Connect, have different levels of thresholds for income. And we're also gathering further information about their legal issue. The entire intake process, we've been testing it with users the whole way across Australia, only takes about 10 minutes. The average intake phone call for a person with Justice Connect takes 45 minutes. So for both us and our client, this is a radical improvement on the status quo. You can see here that clients can take a picture to upload key documents that they want to communicate to us. This isn't their only opportunity to share information with us, it's just the start of that process, but it makes it easier for us to know what to do with this person in a quick way. This is now the internal view of this system. So our lawyers can see what's coming in. They can also see what law firms are doing in our network, so which law firms are taking on lots of matters at the moment, which law firms have expressed preference to do more, which law firms have capacity, and where are legal needs trends showing up in our system? Where do we have spikes of demand? Is it geographic? Here you can see a brief to a lawyer that was created by the system based on the information inputted. And here is a matter bank that our lawyers who have capacity and want to proactively take on a matter can browse and look for a matter. They can search. I was going to show you a little example of that brief from the lawyer perspective. So it gives the key information a lawyer would want to know when deciding whether they want to take on a matter. Matter background, procedural context, conflicts. It's otherwise de-identified. They don't get the identifying information until a conflict check has been passed. They can then search for matters by the 3 key areas they told us they were most interested to search by: area of law, special interest area, is the client part of a particular population cohort or is it a special type of matter, and geography. And finally, we're also going to open up this data in our network to other NGOs in Australia so that they can put requests into our system and access our network of 10,000 lawyers. So we're not being proprietary about that network. Our aim here is to actually extend that network out to other NGOs operating in Australia. So that's the end of my demonstration. I have a whole bunch of materials that I brought over from Australia with me. They were really heavy, so if you want to take them, I'd be really grateful because then I don't have to carry them back again. They're on the end of the table there, so thanks for your time.